Yeah, digital ill. Yeah, the brand too real.
You know that feeling when you're in the middle of a heated match in a WWE game, the adrenaline is pumping, and suddenly the action just completely stops?
Oh, yeah. The dreaded freeze frame.
Exactly. You have to pause the game, read a massive paragraph of text, figure out how to do some specific grapple combination, and then unpause just to trigger a cinematic.
It stopped feeling like wrestling and started feeling like a chore list.
Well, apparently WWE 2K26's showcase mode is finally putting an end to that. Welcome to our latest deep dive here on the Digital Heel. I'm excited to get into this one.
Me too. The leaked and confirmed notes for the 2K26 showcase mode are wild, especially since they are centering the whole thing around the best in the world, CM Punk.
Right, so today we are analyzing if this new cinematic presentation actually fixes the glaring pacing issues we had in 2K25, and we are breaking down a match list that is, honestly, bizarrely prophetic.
So, let's tackle that old checklist problem first. The whole Simon Says gameplay loop has been the Achilles heel of showcase mode since the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. But looking at the 2K26 dev notes, they are claiming this isn't just a nostalgia trip anymore. They want a fully playable documentary.
And choosing Punk is the perfect vehicle for that. The sources mention they are using something called slingshot technology to fix the flow.
Which, sounds like marketing buzzword soup at first glance.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean for the player compared to what we dealt with in 2K25?
It's actually a huge technical shift. Instead of those jarring hard cuts to a black screen or a static objective pop-up, the game seamlessly blends archival broadcast footage directly into the gameplay engine.
Oh, so the in-game models literally morph into the real-life video footage and then back again.
Right, exactly. And it happens without you ever having to put the controller down. You are just playing through the emotional beats of the match as they flow naturally.
That sounds amazing if it works. It fixes the pacing issue entirely, because you aren't just checking boxes to progress the level.
Which is absolutely crucial if they actually want us to replay these matches instead of rushing through them once.
And speaking of the matches, looking at the timeline they have curated for Punk here, they are going incredibly deep into the vault.
They really are. It highlights the sheer depth of the game's roster this year.
Yeah, I was expecting the standard hits, the Summer of Punk era stuff, but they are pulling matches from way back in 2008.
Like the SummerSlam 2008 match against JBL for the World Heavyweight Championship. That is a massive throwback.
It really is. And they also included a super deep cut from Armageddon 2008 against Rey Mysterio.
Which suggests the mode is trying to track his actual technical evolution in the ring, not just his famous pipe bomb promos.
Though obviously we are getting the blockbusters too. WrestleMania 29 versus The Undertaker, the Best versus the Beast match against Brock Lesnar from SummerSlam 2013.
We'll have to include those. Those are the iconic matches that sell the game on their own.
True. But here is where the source material gets genuinely weird. Because usually documentary format is strictly about the past.
Yeah, it looks backwards, but this mode just keeps going forward.
Exactly. This is the fantasy warfare aspect, and honestly, it's the most provocative part of the notes we've seen.
They aren't stopping at the present day. They have included matches that, relative to the game's development cycle, haven't happened yet or are brand new.
It is almost like playing future history. They have the Hell in a Cell match against Drew McIntyre from Bad Blood.
Which makes sense since it just happened.
But then they have a Netflix debut match against Seth Rollins, listed for Raw on January 6, 2025.
And then they dropped the big one.
The WrestleMania 41 match, a triple threat. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns.
That is the detail that legitimately stopped me in my tracks. But you have to look at the manager details in the breakdown for that match.
It explicitly says CM Punk with Paul Heyman.
Exactly, with Paul Heyman. Now think about the current TV storylines right now.
Heyman is tied inextricably to the Bloodline saga.
Right, so for the video game to explicitly book Heyman back in Punk's corner for Mania 41, that is an incredibly specific narrative choice.
That is what I just can't wrap my head around. Are the developers just having fun with fantasy booking to make the mode interesting for once?
Or are we looking at a legitimate storyline spoiler for WrestleMania buried in the game's code?
It entirely blurs the line. Usually, video games lag behind the TV product by a good 6 months.
Here, the game is projecting a massive storyline shift with Punk reuniting with Heyman that hasn't aired yet. It adds a layer of intrigue that showcase mode has never really had before.
You are literally playing a prediction, which is so cool. But we also have to acknowledge that for a lot of sandbox players, the narrative is totally secondary to the loot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Showcase is basically a giant piñata for the rest of the game.
Right. That ecosystem is vital for replay value, because even if you don't care about CM Punk's history, beating these matches unlocks all the alternate attires, the retro arenas, and the classic belts.
If you are someone who spends all their time building custom shows in Universe Mode or the Creation Suite, you basically have to play Showcase just to get those assets.
So the source kind of questions if it's still just a necessary grind for completionists or a one-and-done movie experience.
I think that's the final verdict we are waiting on. If the storytelling is as sharp as the slingshot tech implies, it might finally be a mode you play for the experience itself, not just the rewards.
It is a bold bet on immersion. I want to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on today.
Let's hear it.
If you boot up WWE 2K26 on launch day, you play Showcase, and you see Paul Heyman walk down that ramp with CM Punk.
Yeah.
And then 3 months later, you see it happen exactly like that on live TV at WrestleMania. Who deserves the credit for that booking? The writer's room or the video game coders?
Man, that is a question that's going to haunt me until April.
Same here. Thanks for diving into the sources with us today. We will see you on the next Deep Dive.